Anybody can become an internet celebrity. Anybody. Manipulators, liars, people suffering with severe mental health issues. These are their viral stories. First up, we have the creators of the Twin Flame Universe group. Everybody wants to find their spiritual partner. And what if you found a group of people that could actually help you with that? The creator of this group, Siagian, began one of the world's notorious romance cults to ever exist, running the Twin Flame idea alone. At his core though, he was someone who knew how to manipulate and control the vulnerable. He would use manipulative tactics to make horrible situations seem like everything was okay, and that this was meant to happen. When this group really started to flourish with several members, no one saw the dark side of things. It wasn't until the Netflix series Escaping Twin Flames spilled everything that had happened. Harmful behaviors, engaging in illicit activities, belittling all his members and mocking them for who or what they were. Jeff broke the spirit of those who joined in ways that I'm not allowed to speak of on Facebook. Be sure to check that wild story out. The Gabbi Hanna spiral on TikTok. If you were on this app during the time that this happened, you probably stumbled across one of her very concerning videos. With over 12.8 million followers, Hanna began posting very questionable videos that made her viewers begin to worry for her mental health. She was acting erratic, screaming, some of the videos just simply nonsensical. She would say that she was a god, a deity, spouting very passionate religious beliefs. The ones that really sparked the viewers' concerns were videos of Hanna allowing complete strangers to enter her home, and that's when her followers thought it was time to get the authorities involved. Despite the clear signs that she was in dire need of professional help, TikTok kept pushing her videos on everyone's For You pages, and allegedly raking in those views that they were getting from her. The company had no comment on the app's actions, but everyone was extremely frustrated in how things were handled for her. Pilot MH370, the man who allegedly took not only himself, but 238 passengers into the deep sea below. Captain Zahari Ahmed Shah first started his YouTube channel around 12 years ago, uploading harmless content of fiddling around with technology. One video, however, that went viral was the one where he was explaining his homemade flight simulator. The disturbing thing about this was that this pilot constantly trained at home, despite the disaster that followed soon after. It wasn't that the plane malfunctioned, but Shah's plane actually went off course, flying for several hours before disappearing off the radar. There was a conscious choice being made for him to leave the path towards the passenger's destination. As detectives dug more into his past, they learned that he had a troubled marriage. He was allegedly engaging in affairs not only with flight attendants, but with women online as well. The only thing that the police were able to speculate that the cause of the accident was from him possibly being emotionally unstable. The 7M dance troupe. If you were on the dancing side of TikTok, you've probably come across a group by the name of 7M, a dance group that performs under the guidance of the Shekinah Church. The church was founded by Robert Shin in 1994, who then later on developed the group 7M to allow creators to make money off their dancing. Everything looked glamorous from the social app, their hair, makeup, costumes, and location all being provided for. However, things were a lot darker beneath the surface. Some dancers who managed to escape the group claimed that Robert tried to get them to isolate themselves from their family and only devote themselves to God and the dance group. Miranda, the one the Netflix series Dancing for the Devil focused on, showcased her family's perspective on how they never got to see her or hear from her. Aside from this, there were also alleged illicit actions being done behind the scenes as well. Travel vlogger gone missing, and the spouse was possibly to blame for it. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie from the outside appeared to be the perfect travel couple, vlogging their adventures, exploring the world, apparently living the dream. However, beneath the surface, something else was happening that showed itself within Gabby's text messages to her family. They were very concerning. A lot of instances showcasing that things were not good at all between her and Laundrie. One major occurrence happened during the altercation between the two of them in a grocery store. The clerk called the local authorities, who eventually tracked them down and pulled them over. Gabby was crying and explained claimed that everything was fine and no charges were pressed. August 30th, 2021 was the last time anyone had heard from her. On September 1st, Laundrie was reported driving back to Florida without Gabby. It was clear what had happened when the authorities eventually found her, but in the worst outcome possible. Laundrie eventually followed suit by his own hand, and his family to this day will not comment on what happened when he arrived back into the state alone. Spy Kitten TV, also known as Dasha. Very little was known about this YouTuber, but with a channel that first opened in 2015, Spy Kitten TV's subscribers skyrocketed to over 260,000 people. During this time of YouTube, conspiracy videos were all the rage. Everyone loved talking about the spooky and the supernatural, and what the government might have been hiding from us. Dasha was no different, except her main focus was on the Illuminati and demonic influence in the media. She jabbed at a lot of celebrities that she believed were part of these organizations and practices. Well-known people such as Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and even Pope Francis. Her last video, however, uploaded only 6 years ago, would be the last thing anyone would ever see of her. All of Dasha's social medias went silent and made her followers begin to speculate that the organizations finally silenced her or took her away. To this day, she still hasn't made her face known to the public, making this channel one of YouTube's greatest mysteries. Marina Joyce, a YouTuber that many people believed that she was being held hostage. She was mainly a fashion account, a 19-year-old woman who would upload harmless videos of her makeup tutorials and other items that she would sponsor. It wasn't until July 16th that a very disturbing video started the famous #SaveMarinaJoyce protest. What appeared to be a simple dress review sparked the internet by storm, where people believed that they heard her whisper, "Help me," at the beginning of the video. It is extremely faint, but it was enough. The internet began analyzing all her videos, deep diving into trying to figure out what was happening to Marina. Everyone was under the assumption that she was forced to upload against her will, but there was just no solid evidence of it. Years later, she then came out with a video titled "Saving Marina Joyce" to address the video on a separate YouTube channel. But even with this new video, despite her being open about what's been going on, people still find the video extremely disturbing. She is suffering with multiple sclerosis, but apparently the way she talked about her disorder caused even more concern from her. Richard Siagian, the YouTuber who slowly descended into madness. His account had been up for a long time, with his first video being uploaded over 11 years ago. He was both a tattoo artist and a regular visual artist channel. He loved creating visuals that correlated with his faith, as well as occasionally posting about his son that he raised and cared for himself. One specific day, however, changed his life completely. He had told one of his coworkers that he was feeling really bad physically, and they had offered him some antibiotics that they had on hand. This, though, would be a huge mistake, as he then began to suffer with neurotoxin-induced fatal insomnia. Once the medicine had entered his body, it started attacking his central nervous system within 6 days. After stopping the medicine at 14 days, Richard began to suffer from insomnia to a greater extent. This is what his YouTube channel succumbed to for the next couple of years, recording his sleepless days and nights, and would ramble on about nonsensical topics. Anytime he would try to fall asleep, his body would jolt him awake. It was terrifying to watch as this man slowly began to show cognitive decline, and one day completely stopped uploading altogether. At this point, everyone had assumed that his lack of sleep finally destroyed his body for good. Tricia is a Birdy, a very popular cooking streamer on Twitch, caught a fan breaking into her apartment while she was live streaming. Although the viewers couldn't see who had come through the door, everyone knew immediately that something was wrong when her expression changed to a look of horror. Immediately she is taken aback and moves out of frame. And at the same time, we hear a commotion in the background as we hear her roommates try and get this deranged person to leave. On her X page, she began posting about what the man was telling her when he came in, stating she was a princess and he was there to save her. He climbed on the table, yelling at the roommates, shouting harmful comments at everyone. Thankfully though, the police eventually showed up and they escorted the man off the premises. She's very shaken up by the ordeal. She assures her fans that she is safe and grateful that she had her friends around to help her. Alia's infamous stalker incident. Stalkers aren't a new thing, and it sadly happens to a lot of streamers, but when their obsession leaves the online world and is brought out into reality, this is when it gets bad. It's also a business practice to entertain the people people that follow you, but some of these people take the parasocial issue to the next level. Alia expresses that one of her viewers had followed her for a year, while also figuring out where she lived. There were red flags along the way that she noticed, and mentioned that he would donate thousands of dollars, cheered thousands of bits, and gifted hundreds of subs over the course of a few months. When she confronted him why he did this, he explained, "Either I'm crazy or I'm in love with you." But this isn't the worst of it, because one day Alia saw him show up at her workplace. He flew all the way from Louisiana to British Columbia just to see her in person. Not wasting a second, she got the manager to call 911 and have him arrested. The day after though, she got a disturbing DM from him saying that he was being released and being sent back to the US. Needless to say, she was extremely upset about this. Do you have any disturbing creator stories? Let me know down below, and I will see you all in the next video.